Funny, when you walked through the museum today, what thoughts came to mind as you saw the plaque gallery and the artifacts that are here?
I don't belong here. This was the first thought. I mean, I'm serious. As I was a kid, I said it. You dream. You want to play in the big leagues. You want to be part of a world champion. Never dream about the Hall of Fame. And the more you're around, the more you think Hall of Fame's for players. I'm a manager. So I think the important point is when you manage, if you get the kind of record that earns you this, just think of everybody that contributes organizationally, your history, your mentors, the players. So I really believe this is about all of us, and I represent them.
And you saw, you were a player. You played the major leagues. You played a long time in the minors. What are your fondest memories as a player, on the field?
Well, my fondest memory was when I played at the big leagues, when I played for a manager who was smart enough not to play me. I mean, I had, like Dick Williams sometime would tell me, I thought he was one of the smartest guys. He says, look, don't even bother to bring your glove and your bat out. Just bring your pom-poms, you're a cheerleader. I was a pretty good minor league player. And, I mean, since I was 4 or 5 years old, I was introduced to the game. I loved the game. And, I remember George Kissel one time told me as a player coach in 1977, it's the last year I was going to be in uniform. He says, about this game, the more you learn it, the more you're going to love it. And the more you love it, the more you want to learn it. And I really believe that that's exactly what this game's about. And once you play, you're really into, can you get a base hit, can you make a play? But when you get away from it and you look at the whole of the game, the way it all comes together as a team, it's really beautiful.
How valuable was your playing experience when you became a manager? How much did that affect your ability to have success in the dugout?
It's a great question because there's a popular notion that if you're a lousy player that you make a good manager. And I think there's a certain amount of humility that you get from making a lot of outs, but you hang in. There's a certain toughness that you demonstrate by keep going to the post and keep working at it. You probably need some versatility. You need to understand all the pieces of the game. You can't just live on one talent or another. But I'll tell you where there's a big fault with that, and it goes back to George Kissel. You have great players that are really great managers. Joe Torre's a great player. You think about Dusty Baker, Louis Piniella, Don Baylor. I mean, this goes on and on. So it really isn't how bad or good you were. It's what George said in the beginning. You love the game, and then you want to learn it. And the more you learn, the more you love it. And it's obvious to me whether you're a player like Dusty or Joe or Don or Louis, they're just like we are. Love the game, want to learn it.
I read that you said that you extended your minor league career because you wanted to go to law school. You used that to pay for a law school. What was the point where you decided, hey, I'm going to try coaching, I'm going to try managing, I'm going to get away from the law and do this other thing?
If you remember that, fell in love with the game early. On graduation night, I was 17 years old and had a decision to make. Those days there was not a draft. So all the teams that were I think there were 18 of the 20 teams or something were at the house offering a contract. But I also had a scholarship offer at Florida State to play for a great coach who was also a Cardinal, Danny Litweiler. Education, pro ball. So I was signed to play pro ball. So I had these dreams, playing the big leagues, playing a champion. The only thing I ever give myself credit for, I got really beat up. I mean, the first 6 years I had 5 major injuries, and I hung in there for 10 more years. So I gave myself credit for being a tough guy and wanting it and loving the game. But I realized, I had a sore arm, can't be a sore arm infielder. So I was really disappointed there. If you look at 72, 73, at Richmond and Wichita, I hit over 300 as a second baseman. But I wasn't fooling anybody because I couldn't play defensively as a big leaguer. And that's when you realize, to take care of your family, you need a second career, another career. And I loved to read, problem solve. I had friends who were lawyers, so I went to law school. At that point, I'm going to be a lawyer. To finance my way through law school, I was able to get a job as a player coach. And that's really what turned things around. For 2 years in the White Sox organization, the manager of AAA was a great guy named Lauren Babe. And I was his player coach, and Lauren, with every opportunity, taught me. I could ask him anything I wanted. It was never a second guess. I was just hungry to learn. And I walked out of each of those years thinking, man, there's a whole lot to managing, more than as a player we even know. And that really got the fires going. The last year, 77, I was in St. Louis with the New Orleans with AAA. By then, I had that, boy, I really like this coaching thing. I like teaching. So I graduated from law school, and my wife and I said, Elaine, we didn't have children. I said, look, let me just get this out of my blood, see if somebody will give me a minor league job, manage, then go be a lawyer. And the White Sox allowed me to go to AA with Knoxville and then AAA in Iowa the next year, and then realized if I could manage and make a career out of it, then I much prefer staying in baseball than being a lawyer.
And then within 2 years, you're 34 years old, Bill Veeck hires you to manage the White Sox. Was it overwhelming at first, or did you not know that it was overwhelming because, hey, this is just where I'm supposed to be? What were your thoughts when that first happened?
I was shocked. I mean, you're talking about parts of 2 minor league seasons. I was there half a year in AA, and I went to coach first. August in AAA. I did manage winter ball, which really helped, but I knew that I had the law school, and when I get this chance, I really think that Roland Heeman, Jerry Cross, who was a scout, thought I could do it, but I think Bill was kind of intrigued with a guy who had a law degree, and let's give him, might be interesting. But I had already learned, just don't be afraid. The worst thing you can do is be afraid to try something. You're better off trying and failing than not trying and beating yourself up and what if the rest of your life. So I went in and just said, maybe it's because I had the law degree, but I was never afraid to make a decision. I was tutored by Paul Richards. He was a farm director for 2 years with the with the White Sox, the great Paul Richards. He's already 70 years old, but he gave me a lot of great tips like trust your gut, don't cover your butt, So I knew I was inadequate. And one of my favorite things to say is, I go into the American League in 1979, and it's full of managers that you know by their first name. Sparky, Billy, Earl, Gene, Whitey, Johnny Mack. I mean, there was no contest what they could give their club, what I could give. But I just do your best, look in the mirror and try to learn. And those gentlemen that I just spoke about, as the years went on and I kept asking questions, it was like going to graduate school. They gave me so much stuff that later on I knew it was the gospel.
It must have been satisfying to you to watch that club grow, because that White Sox club really did take steps toward winning it in '83 and then wins it. Was that a particular point of pride for you that you kind of grew up together with that team?
It's personal, and then it's team oriented. The organization, the White Sox, had great people in it. Bill was just strapped for cash. I mean, he was doing the best he could. And then in January of '81, Jerry Reinsdorf and Eddie Einhorn took over the club and had more resources. And they came in saying, hey, look, we're going to spend. And I never forget Roland Heeman and his brilliance said, okay, you serious? You want to spend and you want to get good? We can get Carlton Fisk. And they made a commitment to Carlton Fisk. And that started it. Then you traded for Luzinski. You brought Pachorik and Kuzman over. And right away we got better. So the personal thing, and any young manager will tell you this, you never know for sure that you can start from the first day of spring training and help with your staff, a team get to the October. So in '83, we started slow. Into May, we're 8 games under 500. We won 99 games. To this day, I can remember, son of a gun, we pulled it off, and I was part of it. The confidence that you get from that and the excitement of what happened stayed with me the rest of my life. I've always wanted October baseball is the best there can be for a manager, and it started in '83.
So when you leave the White Sox, by that point in your career, did you feel like you had established yourself? Did you feel like, hey, I'm going to get another chance in the big leagues and this is going to come? Or what was going through your mind during that transition?
Well, '83 was followed by '84, which I didn't do a very good job of turning the page for the team. We had a tough year, but '85 was better. Got fired in '86. It was just unworkable. You know, Ken Harrelson should have had his own guy because he had a lot of ideas, and you know, the coaches and I stood in the way. I thought I had a chance to get another job. I didn't know anything for sure. And then, as has been my whole career, first I had the White Sox, later on the Cardinals. Catch a break. 2 weeks later, I get a call from Oakland, where I started the A's. Not only did they have this fabulous minor league development system, they had a wonderful general manager and great owner, but they're also bringing in veterans, you know, the Dave Stewarts to make trades. I mean, I walked into a situation that was perfect. Talk about push button. To this day, when people say, well, you've done a good job, I say, well, if I was so good with that team, how did we lose 2 World Series in 3 years? Because it shouldn't have happened. But I was very fortunate. And after the success in Oakland, then I felt like I had some credibility.
What was your most enjoyable part of Oakland? What about that team that was so dominant did you enjoy the most?
I'll give you a quick story. I remember I played for Dick Williams in '71, and now he's at Seattle. Spring training, and I got along great with Dick. I learned a lot from Dick. And he saw me in spring training, and it was the spring training of '88, and Sandy had done a real good job of beefing up our club. '87, we came in second to the Twins. We were a 500 club, and we had a great offseason, added about 6 or 7 guys. Dave Henderson, Bob Welsh, you know, Ron Hasse, Dave Park. It was ridiculous how good we got. And he told me in spring training, he says, you know, you got a lot of talent, it's going to be a circus, because he looked at the personalities. Mid-season, he came in after we beat them a weekend in Oakland. As he was going to the bus, he says, you know what, I was wrong. You guys really play the game right. And the thing that I remember the most about that team was, for all their personalities, they really grinded out 9 innings of effort, and they really paid attention to all the little things that bring the close games your way. It was really a very competitive team. Had some personalities, but we played really good baseball on everything, defense, pitching, hitting. I mean, like I say, I don't know how we just won 1 in 3. It's
Well, after that success, you're in the National League by 1996. Was that a transition for you as a manager to National League ball, or was it just simply, hey, this is baseball and we do things just slightly differently in this league?
I remember Sparky Anderson, who was one of the great mentors. He told me, as much as you love the game, before you quit, you got to do the National League. Because in the National League, American League is very tough. Because, you know, the DH means there's a crooked number of faces every inning. Tough to handle a pitching staff. But the National League with the whole game is a more beautiful brand of baseball. So I was excited to try it. I learned early on that the American League success had nothing, no carryover. I had no benefit of our staff. We had no benefit of the doubt from the past. It was all, what can you do to prove that you can manage National League? And you know, we did all right the first year. We got in the playoffs, and then we struggled for a couple of years, and we got going in 2000. But you know, that bird in the bat is a uniform that everybody should put on. It's magical with the way the fans, the history. Very fortunate to be there as well.
2 World Series titles. You finished first 7 times. Very consistent team. What stands out about those cards? I mean, it's easy to say 2011 because it was such a miraculous finish, but is there something that stands out about your Cardinals career to you?
You know, the Cardinals, for a long time, represented a lot of effort, outstanding fundamental play, limited mistakes. And when we got there, they had gotten away from it for whatever reasons. But it really reflected what Dick had taught it in Oakland, and that's what we stressed there. Same thing in Chicago. Play the game right. And so what I remember about the Cardinals was we brought in really good people. The veterans mentored the young guys. The young guys wanted to learn. So from 2000 to now, that is really an outstanding franchise that really represents that history. But if you ask me the one bind that brings it all together, for its relationships. Our coaching staff everybody that touched our big league team, trainers, equipment guys, video guys, manager. We worked as a unit to present an environment where the player wanted to come to the ballpark. We tried to earn their respect and trust, and the bottom line, if you did that, you had these relationships to this day. When everybody sees each other, there's a hug and great feelings, with a couple of just exceptions. So my favorite part of thinking about not just St. Louis, but the whole part of it is just we worked hard, and you have relationships that win or lose, that last the rest of your life.
You talked about all the managers that crossed your path. Was there certain guys who you really relished managing against just because it was a challenge, almost playing a chess game against them?
I think the answer is the Major League, the managing is such a high level that you make a mistake thinking about the other guy. Other than just having an idea how he handles his bullpen, other than having an idea of how aggressive he's going to be with his small game, these guys know what they're doing. Over the 30 years, you never get a manager that got no clue. What you really need to do, and Sparky would stress this, Billy would stress this, you really need to pay attention to your team and put them in a position to succeed. Push their strengths, play away from weaknesses. So you spend so much time concentrating on your guys that if the other team beats you, you tip your cap. So I just don't ever think I felt that, boy, this guy's not any good and have a clue. The only thing I did feel was if you ever manage against a friend, that's a very uncomfortable feeling. Because at the end of the game, one guy's going to be happy, the other guy's sad, and he's a friend. But other than that, you take care of your own team.
You talked about the relationships you had with, guys who played for you, your coaches. Are you finding that with the Hall of Famers now, as you run into Hall of Famers here over the past couple of months, that fraternal bond that is there now for you?
Well, I remember the December morning when we got a call from Ms. Clark that says you're in. Went down to the room. I didn't know at the time whether Joe and Bobby, and sure enough, they're in too. Frank Robinson and Carlton Fisk said your life will never be the same. And I can honestly say every day, as an elected Hall of Famer, that I can see the difference. Part of it is walk around, and when you see a Hall of Famer say, hey, welcome to the club. I was just in St. Louis for the opener, and there's Gibby and Red and Brock and Suter, Whitey and Ozzie, and that's different. But I keep telling you, I don't feel like it's me. I think it's we, three organizations.